I'm Ravin Kiran. The project I have done is human drive visible human activity vision using wearable sensors for the machine learning for the module called machine learning. Here I have included abstract introduction and I have divided the objectives into five. For my objectives into five. Before delay, we'll move into methodology. What I have done. Here you can see the code. Here I define main settings for the sliding window process. The window length I set as k is equal to 4 and overlap is set as 50%. That means windows share half of their data with other windows. The batch size equal to 128 means it controls how many samples are processed and at once during the training. Epochs equal to 30 means it sets maximum number of training cycles. I also reserve 20% of each CSV files for the testing purposes. There's an important parameter called handle mixed window. If it is true, it ensures that window containing multiple activity labels are removed. That means windows with multiple activity labels are removed. Then I have defined the paths and I have divided the activity list and paths. Let me move into the function I have used for data pre-processing. What I have done is first we check activity column. If there are anything missing in the activity column, we add fallback label for that. Next, check all the sensor columns are existing. Then all sensors values are connected to converted into numerical format. For the missing of the values, I have used three ways to handle this. To handle the missing values in between the columns, I have used linear interpolation. Then, secondly, if any data missing at the beginning or the end, I use backward and forward filling. Then, if any are remaining, they are filled with 0. Then, activity labels are standardized. Sometimes label, as you can see here, see from the code, sometimes the label may have slightly different names with small variations. So, a mapping dictionary I use to convert these variations. However, at last, in this function, I have removed the duplicated rows because they introduce bias. If they are duplicate rows, they introduce bias. Then let me move into the time series video sequence builder. What this what this function do is this function converts dataset into fixed length sequences using a sliding window technique. I specially set k as 40, meaning that the model will analyze a sequence of 40 consecutive sensor measurements at a time. I used 50% overlap between the consecutive windows to improve the amount of training data and capture more temporal relationships. For every window, a corresponding activity label is determined. That means if you set the variable named drop mixed as 1, then all the window containing multiple activity label is discarded. On the other hand, if you set drop mix as 0, that is the mixed windows are allowed and the majority label will be used as the activity label. Then for the feature scaling, I have introduced the function. I apply standard scaler to safely remove any null or infinity values caused by the zero variance. Because with the next thing, we could see how these functions are used. Let's move into the main pipeline I have used. But now, for every separate activity files, remember I have used I for every separate activity files, I separately use the clean function I define. Then I separate training and testing data for those every independent files based on the time order. I have not yet combined it. This prevents the data leakage. Then for the same separate files for the same divided training and testing data, I generate windows separately. This is important because overlapping windows should not cross the boundary between the training and testing data. Then only after everything I have done separately, I now combine these, merge these every activities into final arrays. Now we encode the activity label into integers and use previously defined scaling function. I have already shown you to training data we separated. Then what I have done is introducing class weights because before that I shuffled the sequence to improve the generalization. Then I best many sequence into groups together so they can be processed simultaneously. Sometimes same activity windows appear more frequently due to their imbalance. This is the main problem. They are imbalance. So I calculate the class weights. So what these weights do is it increase the importance of underrepresented classes during time. That means giving importance to the classes with very low set or classes not used frequently. Then let me move into the main model definition. This is one of the best things in this model. I use combination of convolutional neural network and bidirectional LSTM, that is long short term memory layers. Why I have combined this is CNN is responsible for extracting local patterns from sensor signals. They apply filters across the time detection dimension to detect motion patterns that characterize specific activities. But on the other hand, the bidirectional LSM layer, it processes sequence in the both forward and backward direction, and it allows the network to capture temporal dependencies within motion data. So I used best normalization to stabilize the learning process. Then I used ReLU activation function to introduce nonlinearity. I used maximum pooling to reduce the temporal resolution of the feature maps. Finally, fully connected layers to perform final classification. Last but not least, I have used softmax activation function for the last layer. You can see convolutional, batch normalization, ReLU, maximum pooling. Last, I have used softmax activation function. Then we have to train the model. I train the model with early stopping and reduce learning rate on Plato because early stopping means the training stops automatically if the validation accuracy does not improve for several epochs. But reduced learning rate on Plato is used for the final adjustment of learning rates. So I create So I train the data on this manner. Then I have I have included some of the main some things to evaluate the main model. I have computed the accuracy, classification report, and the confusion. You can see the confusion method. Here I have also included the training curves, that is training versus validation accuracy curve, training versus validation loss curve. Then I have introduced confusion matrix heat map to see whether the activities are confused with each other. Then I have used normalized confusion matrix for the easiness. Activities confused with each other more, but most probably uh, they are correctly predicting. Then I have used area under curve, ROC curve evaluation. You can see multi-class ROC curves. That means one versus rest. Yes. Then I have used macro average ROC curve as well. As you can see, the display shows the macro average ROC curves, true positive rate versus false positive rate. Then I have very best task, bonus task for the bonus task I have given for the selecting best pair among those sensors. For that, I create 10 possible sensor pairs out of 5 sensors and define a smaller neural network for comparison. Because if we go with the same main model we created previously, it would take so long and so much of time. However, I use same index as the main pipeline, that is CNN layer plus bidirectional LSTM layer. But the difference is that it uses fewer training epochs and lighter structure here. Then I have to run all 10 pairs in the loop through all 10 sensor pairs. And for that, for each sensor pair, I repeat the full machine learning pipeline that repeats the same time split plus windowing plus scaling. Because this experiment aims to compare accuracy, I also perform train validation split from the training data only. The validation set is used for early stopping and learning rate scheduling, so the model does not overfit too much even though we are training quickly. As you can see, as I have previously explained, I use early stopping and learning rate scheduling for this model as well because of to reduce the overfitting. Now I train the small model for few epochs. I test it on the fixed test set. Then I check for highest test accuracy. I provide clear ranking of which sensor combination is the most effective for activity recognition. With that order, we can see we have found that sensor 2 and sensor 5 has the best pair. I have the code to found the best pair as well. Then again, I train the model using those base pairs. Again, again training. Then I check the confusion matrix again for the best pair and check whether the activities predicts correct or they have some confusions. Then I have created the training versus validation accuracy curve for the best pair and training versus validation loss curve for the best pairs. Then also I have created the area under curve ROC for the best pair. Before moving to the result, let me move to the Hugging Face platform. I have already uploaded the model, human activity recognition model, naming my registration number. Let's submit a squad CSV file here. Check for the prediction whether they are predicted correctly. As you can see, the prediction is correct. The squad, it shows squad. Then let's check another file. It takes so much to load. That's the problem. Why here what I have found is I have checked for the classification, uh, confusion matrix, ROC, and other Young curve analysis, and I have checked for sensor pair selection results. With it, what I have found was it confused walk and run as same because it moreover had the same pattern recognition. Since we it's obvious the run is a best part, upgraded part of walking. So it moreover confuses with walking and running. Then cycling and push-ups are classified very accurately because they involve distinct movement patterns and they are easily distinguishable by the sensors. So those are very accurately predicted. Then so we found the things, so sensor readings and sensor 2 and sensor 5 are the best pairs. Now this is uploaded. We submit and check for the prediction. The cycling shows high prediction and let it be again add another push-up whether it is correctly predicting or not. It's up. Now the prediction is correct. It shows push-up as the prediction. Again, one last but not least, let's check another thing. Table tennis. So, yes, let's get it. Yes, it should predict walk as correct. Correct. That's all about my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.